Good morning, Year 3. It's Mrs. Stevenson. Today is Thursday, the 28th of January 2021. The lesson is grammar, and our learning objective is to identify and use prepositional phrases. We're going to do some work in our orange books, so if you could find your orange books, if you could write the long date and the learning objective, and while you're doing that, pause the video and come back when you're ready. Okay. So hopefully you've written the date and the learning objective and you're ready. So let's see what we're doing today. So the question that we're thinking about today is, what is a prepositional phrase? So if you remember, on Tuesday we learnt what a preposition was, and we've got here a reminder. So a preposition is a word that tells you where or when something is in relation to something else. So prepositions are words like before, after, and under. And a prepositional phrase is a preposition followed by a noun. So we looked at these sentences on Tuesday, and we talked about how after and under are the prepositions in these sentences. Excuse me. So here, the sentence, I will play out after dinner. Dinner is a noun, and we've identified that after is the preposition. So after dinner is the prepositional phrase. It's a preposition followed by a noun. So in this sentence here, the cat was under the bed. We already know that the preposition is under. Bed is the noun. So the prepositional phrase in this sentence is under the bed. Okay. So we're going to have a think about some of these questions together. We've got a list of words here, and what we're going to do is find the prepositions. So if you can have a really good look, pause the video while you have a think, and then we'll look at the answers together. Okay, do you think you found them all? There's 6. After, around, in, behind, due to, and upon. So all these words are prepositions because they tell us where or when something is in relation to something else. Okay, let's look at the next question. So now we've got some phrases, and we're going to find which ones are prepositional phrases. So there's the postman, behind my house, without her, a dangerous cliff, that church, among the crowd. So remember, a prepositional phrase is the preposition followed by the noun. So if you need some time to think, pause the video here. Okay, and then let's look at the answers together. Behind my house, without her, among the crowd. So let's check. Among is a preposition, crowd is a noun. So that's a prepositional phrase. Okay, something a little bit different here. We've got a sentence, the baby bird hopped off the long branch. What I'd like you to do is work out which part of this sentence is the prepositional phrase. So if you need a little bit of time, just pause the video. Okay, and we'll look at the answer together. Off the long branch is the prepositional phrase. Okay, and then we're going to finish this sentence. So the sentence starts, we all looked, and then we're going to finish it with one of these prepositional phrases in this box. Have a think about which one fits, which one goes at the end of this sentence. Again, if you need a little bit of time, just pause the video. And now let's look at the answer. So we all looked around the old castle, and that one's the answer because that's the one that makes sense. Okay, now we're going to write some answers in our orange books. So if you can make sure you've got them and got your pencil ready, let's have a look and we'll work the answers out together for the first few. So what I'd like you to do is write a sentence, including this prepositional phrase, around the garden. So can you think of a sentence that ends around the garden? So an example might be, my brother ran around the garden. So while you write that down, pause the video and then come back. Okay, I'm looking forward to seeing what answers you guys came up with there. So let's see, here's some of my answers. The dog chased me around the garden, the leaves blew around the garden, and my brother ran around the garden. So your answers might not be exactly the same as mine, but that's okay as long as it's got that prepositional phrase around the garden. Okay, now I want you to choose one of these prepositional words, one of these prepositions, and I'd like you to use it in a prepositional phrase in a sentence, okay? So I chose the word through and I wrote, I walked through the woods. So please can you choose one of these prepositions and write a sentence with a prepositional phrase. Pause the video while you do that. Okay, I hope you've come up with some good ones. There's lots of possible answers to this. So as long as you've got a preposition and you've made it into a prepositional phrase by putting a noun after it, it won't be wrong as long as you've got that structure, okay? So I had a couple of ideas. I went for a walk through the woods. Through is my preposition and woods is my noun. And I helped the lady across the road. Across is my preposition and road is my noun. So have a look back over what you've written. Do you think it's right? If you need to make any changes, I would do it. Pause the video now and do it now before you move on to the next one. If we're okay, we'll move on to the next question. Okay, Mr. Cheng asked class 3 to share a sentence using a prepositional phrase. Bella says, we go to near the church my school. So we go to near the church my school. Is this correct? If it's not correct, can you explain your reasoning? Okay, so if you've not written the answer yet, just pause the video while you do so. And now let's look at the answers together. So Bella is incorrect. And this is because she has put the preposition in front of the wrong object. So she said near in front of the word church, but we remember that prepositions tell us where something is in relation to something else. So in this sentence, we're learning that school is near church. So we need the word near here. So the correct sentence is, we go to the church near my school. Okay, so now we're going to write a few more answers and you're going to do it independently. So let's see. So question number 1, which of the following are prepositional phrases? So what I'd like you to do is write number 1 and then you can write down the prepositional phrases that are here. And number 2, does the following sentence use a prepositional phrase? The scared kitten hid behind his mother. Does it use a prepositional phrase? Yes or no? And if you want, you could underline the bit that you think is the prepositional phrase. Oh, I'll go back. If you need some time, pause the video here. And then we'll go on to the next question. Okay, so question number 3. Can you write the following sentence in your orange book, then underline the prepositional phrase? So Sam and Lily finished their homework before dinner. So write out this sentence and then underline the bit that's the prepositional phrase. Oops, let's go back to the last one. Okay, and then number 4, write a sentence using the following prepositional phrase. As a result of the storm. So similar to what we did together before, where we used the phrase around the garden, what I want you to do is write a sentence with this prepositional phrase, as a result of the storm. You can use your imagination and make a really exciting sentence there. So pause the video while you do that. Okay. And then number 5, Mr. Smith asks class 3 to share a sentence using a prepositional phrase. Amy says, there is a meadow, the river beyond. Is this correct? If it's not, explain your reasoning. And also, if it's not, please could you write what the sentence should look like? Okay, and that's our grammar lesson for today. So have a look through your work, check that you've answered everything, check that your handwriting is nice and neat so Miss Mawson and I can read it. And then ask a grown-up to take a photo of your work and email it to Miss Mawson. We'll have a look, we'll mark it, and we'll send dojos for some excellent work. Okay, well done, Year 3.